Hello everyone, welcome to another LazyArquitecto live stream where we teach you AutoCAD in a way that is more productive so you can stop wasting your time. As always, we show up here each Sunday at 10 a.m. Sorry, not Sunday, each Friday at 10 a.m. With a new AutoCAD task, with a new way to streamline a process right in AutoCAD. So if your time is important, if you work using AutoCAD, this is your channel. My name is Irving for people who are new to the live streams, and I'm an AutoCAD certified professional. I'm also in the architectural field, so that's my expertise. And let's see how we can streamline the process of cleaning a drawing today together. We're gonna try several different methods, and we're gonna see how all of them can help us again reduce the size of a drawing or make it more or compress it or make it smaller. All right, so let's see if there are any comments on the chat before we proceed. Hopefully you are doing great today, and let's start preparing. All right, let me see over here what we got. As always, we're gonna have a moment to ask your questions, to have some Q&A by the end of the presentation, because that's the beauty of doing a live stream, right? You can ask your questions and get answers in real time. So let me... Okay. So let's see. All right, let's start right away. We are ready. So let me jump to the presentation screen. And let me show you today's task. On my screen, I have an interior elevation drawing that, as you can see, is huge, 76,000 kV. So the problem with this file is that once we open it, we'll have several different problems. One, the main one being that this is a very, very slow and laggy drawing. You can see it's still not opening, and it's basically unusable. You cannot work this way. It'll take you forever to complete your drawings. So it's not an efficient way to work. So one of the first attempts that we can try to optimize this drawing and reduce its size, of course, is purge your drawing, right? So we all know the purge command, but that's one of the easiest and first methods to clean a drawing. So let's use the purge command. As you can see, AutoCAD is taking its time, even though my computer have high specs. It's a very powerful computer, but still struggling. And you can imagine if you have a computer that is not that powerful, this will probably crash immediately. Anyway, so let's keep moving. So once we do that, we can hit all items and then start confirm each item to be purged. No, we don't want to confirm each item to be purged. So we can start checking the items that we don't need. Purge nested items, yes, of course. And then we can hit purge all to purge this drawing. Now, you can see again how AutoCAD is struggling with this huge drawing file. And we're gonna see immediately the results first, see if it did something actually We're gonna go back and close this now and go back to our drawing, which is right here. So as you can see, the size is huge for a drawing in AutoCAD. So I'm gonna save to see if there are any changes. Even when saving this drawing, it takes some time, and again, it will take longer if you have a low spec computer. So let's see what's going on. As you can see, nothing has changed. Indeed, it was actually it's bigger now. That's crazy. So now there is another way to call the purge command, and this is the using the symbol, I believe it's called dash, this dash symbol. And this is the way to use the purge command from the command line version. And you have more options here, for instance, Regapps and all sort of things. So for this, let me click all to select all of the options, and then I'm gonna accept that asterisk. That means to purge all of the items, and then I'm gonna say N to not verify each item. So I'm gonna press enter, and again AutoCAD is doing its thing to clean this drawing. And here we go. Let's save with Control S, see what happens. And let me show you here the file, and you can see again nothing happened. Purge is now working for some reason. So sometimes a file might be corrupted also. So let's do let's try to check or audit this drawing, see if there is anything wrong. So I'm gonna use the audit command for that. I'm gonna press enter. Fix any errors, of course. I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna press enter. So we can see AutoCAD is taking its time because this is again a huge drawing. And we're gonna have some fun time here, guys, because again, this is the worst drawing I ever encountered in all of the years working in AutoCAD. And the reason might be also that this is a drawing that was exported from Revit. If you don't know Revit is an architecture 3D program, BIM program, used in architecture and other fields also. But just to give you a background, how I got this drawing is, again, this was exported from a Revit file. So, all right, let's see what's going on. It looks like my AutoCAD is not responding right now. Yeah, it's not responding. Let's give it some time again. That's the problem of working with these huge files. Hopefully by the end of this live stream, you're gonna learn all the techniques that you can try to clean up your drawing and make it usable. You know, maybe you got a drawing from a client, and again, this might be a drawing that was exported from a different program, Revit, 3ds Max, I don't know, any other program, and you're gonna encounter the same problems. That's why I wanted to share this with you today. So hopefully we can figure it out and see what's the problem, right? Investigate, and here we go. Finally, my AutoCAD is responding to my mouse moving. Let's give it some time. So we already tried the two different purge commands, nothing worked. We're now using this audit to fix any errors. and I'm gonna show you all the techniques I use, because this is a very, again, very heavy drawing here in AutoCAD. It's the worst drawing I ever had, actually. Here we go. So it says total errors found 0, fix 0, erase 0. Okay. So let's save just in case, see if it did something actually or not. And let me bring the folder. And nope, the file is still huge. Okay, so let's try a couple more things. One being the easiest way, right? Let's create a brand new drawing. So I'm gonna say Control N to create a brand new drawing, and I'm gonna pick Imperial Architecture because we are in the US. We use Imperial. You can use Metric Architecture if you want. So I'm gonna open this up. Again, this is a clean drawing. I'm gonna save this drawing and maybe rename it, I don't know, clean. That's all up to you. I'm gonna save it. And you can see here that this file is 38 kV. So hopefully by copying our elevations, so I'm gonna select all of this. I'm gonna say Control C to copy. You can see even by just copying, it takes forever. So again, we're trying now a different solution, which is creating a brand new drawing, fresh drawing that is not infected or anything. And then we're gonna see if we can copy paste there our drawing and see if it kind of works. Hopefully it works. Let's give it some time. Again, my AutoCAD is not responding now. Ooh, nope, I don't think this way is gonna work. Every time we select everything, AutoCAD is just not responding. Okay, so guys, I did a big mistake here, and I don't want you to do the same mistake I just did, which is you should, before you do anything, you should have copied this file, Control C, and paste it somewhere with Control V. So that way you have a backup drawing. If it crashes or something weird happens to your geometry or drawing, now you have a backup. So very, very important. Don't make the same mistake I just did. All right. Anyway, so finally everything was selected. So I'm gonna do Control C to copy. Okay. Yeah, it's struggling. Let's give it some time. Oh boy, it's not responding again, AutoCAD. Here we go. All right, we copy that. Let's go ahead and paste it with Control V. Let's give it some time. It's not responding. Here we go. So I'm gonna click there to paste my geometry. Let's give it some time. Here we go. Okay. Now, let's see what happens once we save this. I'm gonna do Control S to save my drawing. Hopefully, this clean drawing is gonna be a smaller file now. Nope. Nope, it didn't work. All right, at least we tried. So we can see that our interior elevation is about 77,000 kVs. Our clean drawing is 75 kVs. I didn't do anything actually. So let me close this because it didn't work, and let's try a different solution. So first of all, I'm gonna close my property palette because it might be affecting also once we select our objects. The property palette might be reading and trying to see how many objects and everything, so we don't want to make our drawing even slower than it is. So let's see what can we do now. All right, let's try Wblock. So Wblock is also another technique to kind of reduce the geometry or the size also of a drawing. So I'm gonna use that. So here is write a block. So I'm gonna say objects. I'm gonna select my objects over here. I'm gonna press enter, and I'm gonna specify a destination for my drawing. In this case, I'm gonna go and place it in the same location as as the other files. Heavy DWG. Here we go, over here. So I'm gonna say Wblock just to kind of recognize each drawing, and I'm gonna hit save. All right. So I'm gonna click inches. That's fine. Those are my units, and I'm gonna click OK. Make sure you don't hit entire drawing, because that way everything in the drawing might be exported and bring the geometry that we don't want to bring. So that's what I said, objects, and just selected my interior elevations. So I'm gonna click OK, and let's see what happens. Again, this is another powerful technique to clean huge drawings in AutoCAD using the Wblock. And my AutoCAD is not responding. Let's give it some time. So this situation, this task of making a drawing usable, it's a very common situation, because most of the time we receive drawings from other folks, either clients, consultants, you name it, and you know, they might be using in other programs, not in AutoCAD. And now when they share their files, they exported it as a drawing or as a DWG CAD drawing, but they might contain all sort of things and objects that don't work in AutoCAD, such as proxy objects also, We're gonna talk about that also later. We're gonna try a method for proxy objects. But let's see what happened now that Wblock was completed. So I'm gonna go back to the file, and Wblock is right there, and you can see the file is still the same. So nope, Wblock didn't work at all. So let's see, what else can we do here for this drawing? So now that we have tried those, well, still we have another option. It's called export to AutoCAD. So export to AutoCAD. If you don't know about this command, so let's select it and let's press the F1 key on our keyboard to kind of understand what this command does. So it says creates a version of a drawing file that can be opened in products such as AutoCAD and previous releases of a toolset. You can create a new version of a drawing file with all proxy objects exploded into basic objects. Here's the key. So when we work with exported drawings from other programs such as Revit, AutoCAD Arquitecto, and so on, there is this type of objects called proxy objects. And those are simply objects, might be a block in Revit that has some data attached to it, maybe a price, maybe, I don't know, anything. And in AutoCAD, here AutoCAD doesn't recognize those proxy objects, but they are still there, making the drawing huge and not usable. So let's try this method, then hopefully it works. So let me close, and we have different options here. So let's see. Format, find, bind type, maintain, prefix, suffix. So enter for file name. So I'm gonna select that, and you can see it's giving me already a name. It says interior elevation fixed DWG. That's fine. I can accept that with enter, or I can add a new name. In this case, I don't care about the name. I just want my drawing to be usable and to be clean. So I'm just gonna accept with enter. Let's see what happens. Again, AutoCAD is not responding now. Let's give it some time. AutoCAD is doing its thing. And it's not responding yet. But you can see on the command line it says loading AEC project base, AEC schedule, and so on. Not responding yet. Hopefully this export to AutoCAD can help us with making our drawing usable. Again, not responding yet. Here we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what happens. And here we go, guys. Look what just happened. Interior elevation fixed. DWG. As you can see, we successfully decreased the size from 70. What? No way. Oh my god. How does that happen? This was 5,000 and now it's back again to 17. Oh my god. That was funny. I was getting excited already because I thought we were done, and but no, look. Oh my god. Let me just open it and see what happened. No, you can see AutoCAD is still struggling even to open it. So nope, nothing was actually fixed. Oh my goodness. Nope. AutoCAD export to AutoCAD didn't work. So let me close that. I was tricked. I was tricked by AutoCAD. Okay. Let's see what we can try now, guys. So now that we have kind of tried all the things that we could do, like Audit, Purge, export to AutoCAD, Wblock, and so on, let's see what's going on with this drawing. Let's try to inspect it. So we can see, for this I'm gonna open the property palette just to inspect certain objects. So this is a line, that's fine. This is a block. It's called corner ward. This is corner ward parametric. Okay, we have a lot of blocks here. So in order to know all of the blocks, see if maybe this drawing is corrupted and have hundreds of blocks, I'm gonna use the insert palette the insert command to open the blocks palette, and the blocks palette is right here on my second screen, but it's not responding. Oh boy. So let's give it some time. Okay. Oh my goodness. I cannot even drag my palette. Here we go, finally. And make sure, let's go to current drawing so we can see all of the blocks that are in this drawing. And you can see that we are into something, guys. Look all of the blocks that are inside this drawing. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. So I think we are in the right path. We are in the right direction, guys. And oh my god, only for outlets. Look, you're supposed to have one block and the same block for all of your outlets, but look, we have outlet duplex 18, so on. Let's duplex 18 for office west, for dry storage. Oh my goodness. That's how Revit, I believe, works then. Okay. So now that we understand that the blocks might be causing the problem, right? Let's see how we can get rid of all of these blocks. So let me enter the blocks palette right there. And I want to make this drawing usable. I don't need all of these blocks actually. So I'm gonna explode them all. Okay, I'm gonna explode them all. So let's see if select similar will work. Select similar. Nope. Look, it only selects 3 of these blocks, even though there are a couple more of them. And it's because they might have different names. Okay. So let's try something. Select similar. And let's change the settings. Layer and name. So I don't want to check anything. And let's click OK. So that way I will only select blocks. Let's press enter. And here we go. We successfully achieved to select all of the blocks in this drawing. As you can see, it doesn't matter what layer they are, what name the block has, but all of the blocks were selected, which is what we want, and we're going to explode all of this. Okay, so let's see. If we go to the properties, you can see there are 600 blocks. That's all right, but on our blocks there are more than 600 over here. There are hundreds and hundreds of blocks. So let's explore them again. Now the only thing that you gotta be careful before exploring your blocks is that they are not attributes. So attributes, I mean text that are smart within blocks. Since this was exported from Revit doesn't export attributes, so I'm sure there are no attributes. You can even see here that the text is separated from the block. So if this would be an attribute, both will be selected. So I'm sure there are no attributes, so I'm safe to explode my drawings. Otherwise, you'll use the burst command, similar to explode, but will keep your text or your attribute information as is. Okay, so in my case, I'm gonna use the explode command and explode all of these blocks that I don't actually need. I just want to make, all I need is do a few edits here, but since this drawing is huge, every time I do something, I select something, it's lagging, it's not responding, and I'm lucky because I have this computer with high specs. But you can imagine if you're using a different computer, AutoCAD might even crash at this point, that's for sure. So that's why we are trying different methods today, showing you how we can actually make this drawing smaller and usable. So let's give it a couple of seconds because again it's not responding. And here we go. Okay, 616 blocks were exploded. So let's check this. Okay, nice. There's no blocks here or anything. Okay, that's fine. All right. So now what we can do is try to use the purge command to remove all of these drawings. Hopefully it does remove them. Okay. So let's try purge. Let's say all. Let's give it a couple of seconds to respond. Here we go. Let's accept the asterisk. That means all or everything. Let's say no to not verify the names. Okay, AutoCAD is doing its thing. Okay, let's see. Okay, finally, let's open the F2, see what happened. You can see AutoCAD got rid of a lot of blocks. Okay, let's confirm that from our block palette. They are still there. No, that's not right. What's going on? So let's save this drawing. See if actually did something. Let's go and find our file. In this case, interior elevation, which is right here. And nope. So to keep things organized, I'm gonna move all of this to a void folder, so that way I don't get confused. Okay, so that's the only file that we are working currently right now. So, but again, it didn't work. It actually made it bigger now. And that makes sense because when working with blocks, it's more efficient than just working with exploded geometry. But again, in our case, those blocks were causing problems, and we can see that the blocks are still there. That's crazy. So let's try to use the purge command one more time. Purge. In this case, I am gonna first explore only, not explode, but purge only the blocks. And I say asterisk, yes. Verify, nope. And hopefully this time, let's expand with F2. No unreferenced blocks found. Okay. But there are blocks there. How is that possible? Okay, let's see what we can do now. So that means there are still blocks here. So let's see, which ones are blocks? I don't see any blocks here. Oops. We found another block, guys. So there are more blocks there. So that means there were blocks inside other blocks. So even when we explode them, now we still have blocks. That's crazy, right? That's why this block is so huge. So let's apply the same technique. Let's use the select similar. Make sure that the settings are all of them unchecked, so that way when you select your block and press enter, AutoCAD will try to select other blocks. You can see it selected this other one, 205 blocks. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Only for the wall base. That's insane. That's why this drawing is huge. Okay, let's explore that. Okay, let's purge. Let's say all, and to verify the names, let's say no or N, and let's give it a couple of seconds. Oh my goodness, we're gonna stay here forever. Okay, so I'm gonna do Control S to save my drawing, see if we did something. Nope, we didn't do anything. So that means the blocks are still there. Let's see. Current drawing. But we don't have drawing. We don't have blocks. That's weird. Okay, so recent, current. Somehow we were able to erase all of the blocks. You can see there are no blocks on the current drawing now. Before there were hundreds. But let me show you another way to find objects in your drawing using the rename command. So once we use the rename command, we can verify that blocks, we only have one block. That's fine. One block is not gonna make a huge file. So we successfully removed hundreds of blocks. Now the problem is, let's move this. We can also use the rename command to find different AutoCAD objects. In this case, dimensions, we only have 3. Layers, we only have a few. That's not gonna impact the drawing size as much. Line types, we only have a few. Materials, multi-leaders, nothing. Textiles, just a few. Views, nothing. So according to this, we should be fine, but we are not. So let me cancel that. And let's see what else we can do then. Okay, let me try the purge command, but in this case we're gonna use the Regapps option, which is right here, Regapps, and this might help to remove hidden objects such as proxy objects or other data from other programs. So I'm gonna say Regapps asterisk verified name, no. Oh my goodness, I'm losing hope here. We are trying everything, but nothing seems to work. So let me expand. As you can see, it says AutoCAD D-style landmark symbol 1 register application deleted. That's what we wanted. So let me save with Control S. Looks like we didn't fix it, because otherwise it wouldn't take forever to even save your drawing. So let me go back here, and yes, nothing was fixed. Whew. I'm about to give up here, guys, and we're doing all of this live. Okay. What else we can try? We already explored all of the blocks. We already removed all of the blocks. So let me save this drawing as with. So I'm gonna go here under the AutoCAD. I'm gonna try this different method. Save as. In this case, I'm gonna save as a other format. I want to save it as a DXF file. So that way AutoCAD can remove all of those objects, proxy objects, and data that it's not helping us here. So again, I'm gonna pick the DXF option, and I'm gonna pick the 2000 or AutoCAD 2000 in this case. Why? Because the older the AutoCAD is, it's gonna avoid to bring those proxy objects, those 3D geometry or data from other programs. So that's why I'm picking the oldest DXF file. In this case, to keep things organized, I'm gonna call this DXF option. So I'm gonna save. Whew. We're losing hope here, guys, but we're trying this other method, which is exporting the corrupted drawing or the huge drawing as a DXF file, and then bringing it back to a DWG. So let's wait the AutoCAD respond first. goodness. So AutoCAD is doing this thing. It's creating the DXF file. Oh boy, I'm losing hope here, guys, that we can ever fix this drawing. Okay. Let's see. Okay, it's done. DXF options right here, and it's even bigger. That's insane. But let me open it up. AutoCAD, yes. Let's open it. So that's the DXF option. So let's save it back with Control S. And we're gonna save it as a DWG, of course. Oh boy. None of these methods seems to work. Let me know in the chat if you ever faced this situation of receiving a huge drawing file in AutoCAD. Again, this is very common. That's why I picked this topic. It's very common. I mean, I have received big drawings, but this one was the worst. Okay, so looks like it's done. Oh, not yet. Oh no, we got this wheel now. That's not a good sign. I don't want to touch it or click. I'm just moving it, but I don't want to click anything, otherwise I believe AutoCAD might crash on me. Nope. Let's give it some time, guys. Oh boy. Okay, looks like it's done. Wait. Let's say safe. Oh. Not responding. Let's give it some time. Oh boy. Whew. Trying the DXF export and then save it as a DWG again. The logic behind this is that once you save as a DXF file, so let me go and save as. Save it as, in this case, DWG. I'm gonna pick 2019, that's fine. DFX to DWG. I'm gonna save. So the logic behind it is that once you save it as a DXF, it might automatically remove all of those advanced custom objects and stuff like that, so that when you convert it back to DWG, your drawing might be smaller now. So I'm gonna save, and let's see over here, DWG, here we go, still saving. But I don't think it's gonna do anything because it's so slow even when saving. So once we fix this drawing, when we save, we shouldn't have that bar right there at all. So that's when you tell it's a nice and optimized drawing. So nope, we failed again. The DXF option didn't work. So let me close this again because it didn't work. Let me open back up but of course let me clean this folder a little bit so we don't get confused. And let's open back up our drawing. Oops, it's opening in another window. Okay. Oh my god, we're struggling with this file. Okay. So, oh my god, what do we try now? Our drawing seems to be clean. Okay, let me try this other method. But first, let's see why we have two AutoCADs here. Okay. Alright, so let's try this other method, guys. So what I'm gonna try is select all my geometry with Control A to select everything in model space, so that way if there is something hidden somewhere in my model space, maybe a tiny point or maybe a custom proxy object, very small somewhere, it's gonna be selected. And as you can see, AutoCAD it's struggling even to select. Oh boy. Okay. So okay, and then let's deselect our interior elevation drawings holding shift on our keyboard, and then we're gonna do a selection, if AutoCAD let me, of course. I am gonna click right here like so. Whew, let's give it some time. Hopefully we can. The idea with this method is that by using the Control A to select all the geometry in model space, and then deselecting only our interior elevations, we might be able to select some weird points, items, again, and we can get rid of them. But let's see if AutoCAD let me even try it. Now, for this method to work also, you might have to turn on a couple of variables for proxy objects. In my case, I already have them all turned on, but let me show you what I'm talking about in a moment. So let's give it a couple of seconds. Come on, AutoCAD, you can do this. I need to make this drawing usable. Come on. Ooh, boy. Still not responding. Come on, AutoCAD. We are live here. It's not funny, guys. It's not funny at all. Let's see. For some reason, I'm not seeing any comment on the chat today. That's strange. Hopefully I didn't do any of the settings. I didn't mess up any of the settings, otherwise. Come on, AutoCAD, we are live here. Oh boy. Should I force and close AutoCAD? What do you think? That's why it's important that we saved a copy of this drawing in the beginning, so don't forget to do that when dealing with huge drawings. So we are safe there. If we want to, we can force AutoCAD and just close everything. But I have hopes that it's gonna respond. No, it's not gonna respond. Okay, can't wait more, so I'm gonna force AutoCAD to stop. Control. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is what I did is Control Alt and Delete on my keyboard to open the task manager, and I'm gonna go ahead and right click on the AutoCAD and say end task. So again, this is sad, but you know, we gotta do what we gotta do. We can't be here forever. So I'm gonna have to force AutoCAD to close and try to open it back again. The good thing is that we did save a copy of our drawing from the very beginning, so we are safe there. Okay, so I'm gonna end the task, gonna close this and go back and open our drawing. So okay, it's opening on my second screen. Let me close this because I don't want a oh boy, we have tried them all. Proxy objects, save as DSF. Let's see. Okay. So that's our drawing. So let's see what's going on. Let me inspect this. Oh, look at this thing. It's full of freaking lines. So let's select this thing. I want to see how many objects there are here. So I'm gonna open the quick property palette. Oh my goodness, that's insane. We are into something, guys. So only for this tiny elevation we have 75,756 objects between lines, text, hatch, ellipse, circles, arcs. We have 163 arcs. That's crazy. How we can have polylines 10? Okay. I mean, at least we are into something, guys. So I cannot imagine to select this bigger elevation. I might have I don't know, 1 million of objects. So if that's the case, let's try to optimize this. Before I do that, let me close this so this doesn't make AutoCAD even slower. So I'm gonna use the Overkill command. So the Overkill command, if you don't know what it is, it's a command that removes duplicates or overlapping lines, arcs, and polylines, and also combine those So we want that because you can see here there is a line here, but there is also, oh my goodness, there are so many lines here. That's insane. So we want to be able to somehow have one single line here and not like 20. Okay, so let's try that. So overkill. So first let me check again with the quick property, see if we did some progress or not. So 75,000. So let me try overkill on this drawing first, because otherwise it's gonna maybe crash on me. So be careful with that. I'll press enter. For the ignore object, I don't want to ignore anything. Optimize segments within polygons. Just I want all of this checked. We can play with the tolerance, but I found that 0.001 is a good tolerance if you really want to get rid of many lines. So I'm gonna click OK, and let's give it some time. And look what happened. It says selected object 75,000, 800 duplicates deleted, 74,000 overlapping objects deleted. That's insane. So let's see over here. Nice, that's what I need. Only one line. I didn't need like 30 lines over here. That's good. So now let's select this and let's go to 742. That's great, right? From 75,000. So we are into something here, guys. So I'm gonna try the overkill again, but I'm not gonna do the everything, otherwise AutoCAD might crash on me. I don't want that. So what I'm gonna do is maybe in two parts. I'm gonna select all of these objects because I already applied overkill here, and I'm gonna press enter. Same settings. I'm gonna click OK. Overkill is doing its thing. It's gonna take some time because we have a lot of objects, guys. Look, that's insane. Oh my god. Okay, so let's apply the same overkill in this other half of our elevations. My goodness, I think we are into something, guys. Let's press enter. Same settings for the overkill. Let's click OK. Searching for duplicate objects. And that's the problem of exporting drawings from other programs such as Revit, AutoCAD Arquitecto, and so on. You know, their blocks, they might have edges and tiny lines forming those edges of their blocks, and it's just, you know, we need to optimize it somehow here in AutoCAD, and that's what we're doing today. That's what we're showing. Again, don't try to make this on your entire drawing, otherwise AutoCAD is gonna crash and it's not gonna be good. So let's give it a couple of seconds. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and save this, see if something really happens. And yes, guys, yes, finally. Oh my god, we were able to reduce our file from 88,000 1000 KB to 7, which is about right for a drawing of this size. So now the beauty is that we can work in our drawing and everything. It's just lines, and you see now when we save our drawing, look, it's saved already. We don't have that lagging bar over here. Awesome. I can save, I can do whatever I want, I can stretch out my kitchen if I want to, whatever. But now everything, it's not heavy and slow and laggy. Awesome, guys. So let me go ahead and close and save this drawing, because finally we were able to make a drawing usable. That's insane. Oh my goodness, we figured it out, guys. And now look what happened when we open this drawing. It just opened right there. There is no, again, charging bar here at the bottom, nothing. Awesome, guys. Great. We have a comment on the chat. It's our friend Analti. Hi Analti, hope you're doing great. Says you didn't purge all after you exploded 205 blocks. Yeah, I remember I did explode, my friend. And we also purged. We already checked that the blocks were removed. You saw that we used the insert command to open the blocks palette, and there were no blocks here anymore because we removed them all. So that wasn't the problem, Anilti. We were able to discover the problem was the geometry. Analti says, try purge all if this helps. Yeah, again, we already tried purge from the beginning, very, very beginning. Then we did audit, we did so many things. But finally, we figured it out. And we were able to convert a huge file into a small one that is actually usable. We can actually work on it. So let's see if there are any other questions. Analti, yes, we already tried audit, we already tried purge, we already tried all of the different methods that we could. I'm glad that we could solve this problem. Let me see if there are any other questions before we wrap up today's presentation. That's crazy, guys. I was almost about to give up with this drawing. It's the worst drawing I ever had in AutoCAD. Okay. So let me stop right here. But before I do that, let me also show you a couple of videos, put it on my screen, and also leave you my Patreon page over here so you can visit us and access our blogs, our drawing files, macros, and so on. So, but I'm gonna see you here next Friday at 10 a.m. All right? See you there.